Hey, this is the Aroma Junkie, and today I'll be reviewing Frosted Cranberry. This is a 3-wick candle from Bath& Body Works, and I'm doing this review to help you make an informed decision in case you're looking to pick this up. So, this was actually one of the first few fall holiday candles that I bought from Bath& Body Works in 2024, and that's when I actually started shopping there regularly. And looking back, I wish I knew now what I knew back then, and I probably would have been more careful with my purchases because I was just buying left and right with no reasoning whatsoever, but I'll get to that later on in the review. So this seems to return every holiday because it's in the stores right now for holiday 2025. And no candle shaming because I'm finally burning this 1 year later. Now, packaging wise, I got both 2024 versions. The one currently on screen is a full wraparound in a cranberry / burgundy kind of color or dark maroon. And it looks like a quilted pillow or blanket, and the fabric looks a bit leathery. And I'm kind of torn about the packaging because the other one is fine as well. But when you only have a front label, it's so much easier to look at the wax melting and see the flames flickering, which I find rather soothing, versus the full wraparound where you get that hidden flame flickering. And the quilted design comes with a standard silver lid, while the less fancy one has a beige color lid, and I believe that version was $2 cheaper because it's almost a 90% guarantee that the candles are $2 cheaper when there's no full wraparound because it's less money to print. And this candle does come with thick ropey wicks. So the scent notes include iced cranberries, blonde woods, red apples, and tonka beans. So the first thing that I smelled when I opened this lid was the cranberry note. I didn't pick up on any of the other notes, and that happens a lot on initial sniff, and the other notes could just come out during the subsequent burns. So I really bought this because I always lean towards fruit scented candles in 2024, but my preferences have changed since then. So I'm going to be upfront with you because I found this candle to be rather disappointing. This candle ended up smelling like basic cranberry juice sitting in the living room in a glass jar. I got none of the other notes, and I'm okay with it just being cranberry juice, but if that's all you're going to be, you gotta be a powerhouse, and it wasn't. And there were serious performance issues as well. First, this has thick ropey wicks, but it took almost 4 hours to get an even wax pool during the first burn, which I didn't expect with thick ropey wicks. And remember, the suggested first burn time is 3 to 4 hours to be safe, and I blew it out at the 4-hour mark. And then with all the subsequent burns, I did 2 hours to be safe, but with BBW candles, they're pretty good and they do go much longer without any issues, but I wanted to really prevent sooting of any kind, and I didn't want the wax to get compromised in any way, so I played it safe. And throughout its burn life, I mostly got teeny tiny itty bitty flames, and because of that, there were so many times where it didn't even get an even wax pool after a 2-hour burn, and I literally would have to blow out the flame at that point because I was trying to stick to a 2-hour burn time. And a few instances I did do 3-hour burns because of the fact it didn't even get an even wax pool at the 2-hour mark. But in many instances, I actually didn't even think this candle would make it because the flames were so small that I actually thought it would extinguish itself because there wasn't enough manpower to melt the wax. So I did leave it alone, and it did end up making it. And as always, the first 2 burns are in my small living room, which is very small, and I could smell it for the first 2 burns, but it was very light. I really had to go looking for it, and it only got strongest when I was about a foot away or literally on top of the candle. And for my third burn, I always burn it in my bedroom because it clearly can't make it in my living room, so there really was no sense in burning it there again. And my preference is my living room because that's where I'm at the most. And I would give it a 4 for strength and throw in my living room. I don't think I have high ceilings that I would get a 4, but that is what I got. And in my bedroom with the door closed, it would get up to a 5. And when I reopened my door, I didn't get that strong whiff hitting me in my face like I wanted. It was stronger than it was versus being in the living room, but not by much. So I decided to use my second candle to really help get it where I wanted it to go. And at that point, it only got up to a 6. It was extremely light. And for the most part, it was a fairly clean burn. It did get a little messy, but not by much. And you can see here on the candle that's on the right side that it's really struggling. You see it's very dark because of the small flames versus the one on the left that had stronger flames and is much brighter. And what I learned from this candle and some of the other fruit scented candles are there's just certain fruits that aren't going to be a powerhouse, and this is one of them. So I finally decided to light the last frosted cranberry in my collection and have 3 of them going in my bedroom. And at that point, it got up to a 7, but it was a weak 7. And can you believe I had to burn 3 of the same candles to make it perform on the level that one candle should be able to do on its own? Isn't that some crazy shit? Okay. Okay. So the last candle struggled too with small itty bitty flames, which was surprising once again with thick ropey wicks. I think the itty bitty flames really impacted this candle's performance because there were so many times it felt like it was trying to get there and never could. I would say it actually got there really towards the end where you could see the bottom of the wicks and there was no hard wax left, just pure liquid. Literally, when it's on its last few burns is where it felt like it was finally performing where it should have been from the very beginning. So this brings me to my final thoughts, and this candle gets a 4 out of 10 from me in a moderate sized living room, and that is only with 1 candle burning. No need to buy 3. I personally would never buy this again, and it may be a sign for me to just stay away from cranberry scented candles. Like, I don't have an issue with a candle being a basic fruit scent, a basic cranberry scent, but it really has to operate on a level 15 if you're going to be a generic run-of-the-mill basic cranberry candle. I would only suggest this if you are a hardcore cranberry fan or want to get this for the holiday season to be in the festive mood. Otherwise, I would skip this one unless you see it heavily discounted under $5. So thanks again for checking out my review. If you like, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share this with your friends and let me know your thoughts down below on this candle.